The new phone bar is fast and fun, and it's the easiest way to talk to exciting new people. You can swap messages or connect live for a private chat with anyone in the bar you like the sound of. With up to 240 people on the line right now, you're sure to find someone to interest you. Give it a try now and find out for yourself on 09069 121 131. That's 09069 121 131. If you're single, or even if you're not, you'll always be welcome at the Singles Bar. People call in every day looking to chat, get a date, or perhaps something more. You'll find the Singles Bar on 09069 12 13 12. And we have thousands of callers every day looking for fun. So why don't you join me on 09069 12 13 12. Call us now.
Wildcard weekend in the NFL. Miami, job done. There you go. That was the first game on Saturday. We've still got action to come from later on. Tampa Bay and Philadelphia, extended coverage of that particular one. Also a report from Denver and Baltimore. But first up for you now is another report, and it is well, it's a repeat of last weekend's game, and that was a blinder. New Orleans versus the defending champions St. Louis Rams. Here's how this one went with Mike.
And the Rams may have thought New Orleans was dome sweet dome, but the Saints were wearing their road white, and former Ram coach John Bunting was firing up the D. Saints up 10-7 in the third, and Kurt Warner picked off by Chris Oldham. Joe Horn was on the sidelines with a sprained ankle in the first half, so it was will he or won't he, and it was will he Jackson. He certainly will. Brooks to Willie J. Todd Light's day off, 17-7, Saints lead, and they do it again. Brooks to Jackson. This time he beats Dexter McCleon like a rug. Jackson's got everything down except the strut. 24-7, Saints in the fourth quarter. It was a tough day for the Rams. Warner coming off a concussion last week, didn't look sharp. Sacked by Leroy Glover, and he picks up the fumble. Saints have the ball. Very next play, Brooks to Willie Jackson, third touchdown. Say, didn't you used to be Todd Light, the guy who played defensive back for the Rams? 31-7, Saints in the lead. But the Rams weren't done, down 31-13, 4 minutes to play. Warren to Marshall Faulk, and here's why Faulk was the NFL's MVP, all the way in for the score, 31-20. Rams need the ball back, they go onside, Wilkins kick, perfect. Dre Bly picks it up. But Jerry Austin says, let's do that one again. Okay, onside kick. Wilkins' kick is perfect. Dre Bly picks it up. Rams get the ball. Kurt Warner, who cares about double coverage? He puts it up to Oz Hakeem. Oz comes down with it on the 5-yard line. And now watch carefully. You're going to see something you won't see very often. 2nd and goal at the 5. Warner takes off and runs it in. Dan Marino's career rushing record is safe. You can't catch Kurt. He'll be doing a commercial with that. They go for the 2-point conversion. Marshall Faulk, it's 31-28, a 3-point game. The Saints now 3rd and 14. They've got to make it. Robert Wilson, is it a catch or isn't it? Let's go to Jerry Austin. Judge for yourself. Wilson comes down, still juggling the ball. Does he have it before he drops it? Jerry Austin said no, so the Saints have to punt. Punt goes up. Oz Hakeem's under it. He drops it. The Saints recover. And there was nobody in the stadium who didn't think the Rams were going to go down and win. Mike Martz swallows his fist. Kurt Warner, 3 interceptions on the day. That was key. Aaron Brooks, 4 touchdowns, 3 of them to Willie Jackson. A great day for Willie Jackson after Joe Horn got hurt. And Saints coach Jim Haslett knew that this was just the first step on the way.
We want to come in here and show this team that we're going to go up to Minnesota. We got 1 down and 3 to go. And I said before, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC. We beat them. I don't know why we can't go do what we got to do.
It hurts because we know that we're as good as anybody out there when we play our game. But the unfortunate thing is we didn't do it enough this year, and we didn't do it today, and that's the bottom line.
I don't know how good they are. I know that they made more plays than us today. You never know how good you are until the season's over, until your season over. Till your season ends. You know, we'll assess how good we were this year. And obviously we weren't good enough to do what we needed to do.
You don't think about it until it's, and now all of a sudden it stopped, and you just feel like it's going to keep going. And I felt like we were going to keep going here, and it is a jolt, I guess. But that's life.
Do you know, as Celavi, I likes it. To be honest with you, I was there as well. After last week's game, you just kind of got the feeling, I got the feeling then, that the Rams may just be doing it, you know, just getting it right again.
The concussion to Kurt Warner seemed to be key. He did not look sharp for most of the game, and a couple of times when the Saints got to him and hit him, it looked like he was, you know, groggy on the plays after that. He threw some interceptions you wouldn't normally expect him to throw. They picked up one awful break when Marshall Faulk went for a 50-yard run that was called back on a very borderline holding call. And actually the Saints didn't get a penalty until very late in the game, and the Rams kept racking them up. But basically the Saints played a great defensive game.
Yeah, as they do.
Aaron Brooks came through with the offense when he had to. Kevin Carter was a non-factor. I don't even think we called his name once the whole game. Todd Light looked like he should have been playing in NFL Europe. I mean, he wouldn't have been starting on the Scottish Claymores. It's just awful performance by him. He just looked, and this is playoff football. Everybody else is playing in the playoffs, and these guys weren't, and that was horrible.
And you have to say, for the Saints' point of view, they must be delighted. You know, to get rid of the Rams in the first round, they're probably thinking to themselves, we got a nice smooth run at the Super Bowl.
The one thing they have to worry about, their line played really well, but their backs couldn't take advantage of it, and when they needed to eat some clock in the fourth quarter and keep the ball away from the Rams, they couldn't do it. Now, maybe they get that out of their system, you know, having played their first playoff game and won their first playoff game, which just shows that Jim Mora is cursed, because all of the Saints' previous losses were when Jim Mora was in charge. The curse moved on with him. Now the Saints have won a playoff game.
Well, it's official. It's Jim Mora's fault. He'll be delighted with that particular fact, won't he? OK, that was Saturday's business for you. Miami, New Orleans, they've done their bit. Now we can move on to early on Sunday, and Mike once again reporting. This time it's Denver at Baltimore.
The winds were blowing in Baltimore. It meant a cold day for Brian Greasy on the bench with a separated shoulder. Gus Frerott's a quick study. He was starting for the Broncos, and he started slow. First possession, Frerotte, pass gets tipped, picked off by Ray Lewis. And Ray doesn't get out to discos much these days, because you get in trouble there. So he does his disco dancing in the stadium. Get down. Rookie running back Jamal Lewis was the high-flying Raven on offense. Sam Gash opens the hole, and Jamal is gone all the way down to the 1-yard line. Next play, Jamal goes in, higher than Tony Gonzalez on that one, 7-0. Ravens are up. Broncos 3rd and 1 at the Ravens 12 in the third quarter. Mike Anderson gets stuffed. Anderson voted Rookie of the Year over Jamal Lewis, had only 40 yards rushing on 15 carries, as two-ton Tony Siragusa buries him. Key play of the game now, Ravens up 7-3. Dilfer looks around, finds Lewis. Lewis bobbles it. So does Terrell Buckley. Shannon Sharp picks it up. Where does he think he was? And beats them around the corner, takes off 58 yards for the touchdown. Dilfer says thank you to the god of interceptions. Take another look at it now. Through Jamal Lewis's hands, T-Buck lets it bounce off his chest. Shannon picks it up. Al Wilson goes for the strip and misses. And Shannon's off to the races and has a nice Zen moment with the goalpost. Denver couldn't get the run game going. As I said, Anderson only 40 yards on 15 carries. Ray Lewis was all over the field, justifying his selection as the NFL defensive MVP. Rod Woodson made some stops as well. Think the Rams miss Billy Jenkins? Billy Jenkins levels Trent Dilfer. I thought helmet to chin was a penalty in the NFL. But the Ravens roar right back. Dilfer's not going to pass. He just gives it to Jamal. Jamal runs right over his college roommate, Al Wilson. Gets the block from Sam Gash, and they win 21-3, the final score. Brian Billick says, sharp play, Shannon. That was the key play of the game. And Shannon Sharp had to explain what he was doing in the area of that pass.
I kind of got up under Jamal's route, and I saw the ball get tipped. I thought T-Buck was going to pick it, and when Jamal tackled him, the ball just kind of hung up in the air. I just caught the ball and raced down the sideline.
We heard it all week. You know, they had the most balanced offense coming in. They had this guy with 1,500 yards who was a rookie. But I think the thing is, once we said it all year. One thing we don't do is never be boastful. But we just don't believe in the running back coming in and pound us. And that was our whole mindset, and we took him out of the game early.
He tried, he wanted to gut it out, he wanted to play, but I really believe that if we would have put him in there, it was not the right thing to do for him.
There you go. That was, yeah.
Gus Frerotte wasn't the right thing to do for
the
Denver.
team. Exactly. So call that one. But now, I guess the thing, you know, especially with the running they've had, I mean, no one wants the Ravens now, do they? They've got it going on.
Their defense played just an exceptional game because Denver kept trying to establish the run game and couldn't do it. And when they had to pass, they couldn't pass. And basically what was happening, and remember, Denver's offensive line is very, very efficient. They could not move those big guys in the middle. And Ray Lewis, nobody was touching him.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't get past the big guys to Ray Lewis, he's everywhere on the field. And he just had an exceptionally good game.
Yeah, that's 8 in a row now. That this is your kind of you know, a working man's team and a real good blue-collar, solid unit. I mean, and I guess when you've got that kind of, if you've got this kind of attitude now together, that, you know, we're in this together, that's going to get you a long way.
I've said a couple of times, they are the Tennessee Titans of last season.
Yeah.
And the Titans may well be the Jacksonville Jaguars of last season. We'll find out next week. But it all depends on Trent Dilfer. They'll go as far as Trent Dilfer carries them, and based on what they did on Sunday, all Trent Dilfer has to do is avoid making mistakes. You know, and that's what Tampa used to ask him to do, and it gets in his brain, you know, and then he starts making them. But he played a pretty good game. You know, that the near interception that Shannon Sharp, that wasn't a bad throw. That was Jamal Lewis's fault. So, you know, Dilfer survived to fight another week. Jamal Lewis had a great game running the ball. They didn't really have to go to their wide receivers, but they can if they have to, and the defense will keep them in a lot of games.
Would the words Trent Dilfer quarterback, Super Bowl quarterback, be the words that you'd ever see passing your lips, though?
There'll be an awful lot of Tampa Bay fans out there committing suicide if that happens.
Wouldn't it be weird? That would be the way to go. So there you go. That's got us through to Sunday. And moving on neatly to the last game of the World Cup weekend, and that is the Sunday night game. That is Tampa Bay, the team that Mike just mentioned there, against, I guess, the team that everyone will be looking as to be the outsiders, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, you know, the Eagles at home are a tough proposition, and here's the man who everything depends on for Tampa is Sean King. He has to establish some passing game to go against the Eagles and beat them. And he's not as bad a passer as they want to think. On the other hand, Donovan McNabb is a much better passer than people think as well. It's just that they don't seem to notice it. He doesn't have a lot of great receivers to go to. Warrick Dunn being established as a running back was really the key to Tampa's turnaround at the end of the season. As a sole setback, he could carry the ball, and he proved that he could as a one-back. The leading rusher for Philadelphia is Donovan McNabb. Chris Warren will probably get most of the carries in this game, you know, which is he's a veteran back who they'll be able to use. And Tampa, Keyshawn Johnson's got a tough matchup against Philadelphia because Bobby Taylor is a big, tall cornerback who used to do a job on Michael Irvin for the Cowboys. Charles Johnson has really risen to the occasion this season. He doesn't get a lot of yardage per catch, but he's made a lot of big catches for the Eagles, and he's been their downfield threat, although Chad Lewis, the tight end, has been their leading receiver. Warren Sapp, MVP of the Tampa defense, a real threat in the middle all the time. The strength of Philadelphia's offensive line are their two tackles, not the middle of the game of the line. Hugh Douglas, the former New York Giant, had just a great season. He came back bigger this year. He's been a threat against the run. He's also got a lot of sacks this season, 15 sacks. Just a great performance by him. And Tampa, the strength of their line is in the middle and not necessarily at the tackles.
Yeah.
You know, so the matchup, defensive lines against offensive lines, is nicely balanced that way.
So the old line of Philadelphia, just be delighted to be here. I'm sure that kind of counts. But Tampa Bay, to be fair to them, did get their act, just got their act together at the right time,
they
didn't they?
absolutely did, but they went up to Green Bay. They lost a game they should have won, Martin Gramatica missing a field goal, and they ran their streak to 19 games when the temperature is 40 degrees or below at kickoff. And guess what? In Philadelphia on Sunday, it was a lot colder than 40 degrees below, and there was a strong wind blowing, which can be a factor with Sean King because he doesn't have the rifle arm. And, you know, we've seen it in a couple of the other games when the wind's blowing. Passing into the wind downfield can be a problem for quarterbacks who don't have rifle arms.
Yes, indeed.
McNabb does have one.
Oh, dear. So, once again, Tampa Bay get to take on two opponents, Philadelphia and Mother Nature. How's it going to go? We can find out now with our commentary team of Pat Summerall and John Madden.
Carl Williams and Riddell Anthony back deep. For the Buccaneers, they won the toss, and Akers will kick off for the Eagles. David Akers
kicking with the wind.
And forcing the Buccaneers, Carl Williams almost out of the end zone, and they'll take over at the 20. Let's look at their offense. The offensive line completely revamped from a year ago. Hageman, McDaniel, Christie, Frank Middleton, and Jerry Wunsch. And those who handle the ball, Jacquez Green, Warwick Dunn, Allstott headed for the Pro Bowl, Dave Moore, the tight end, and the acquired Keyshawn Johnson. Sean King is the quarterback. His record is 14-7 as a starter. 1st and 10 at their own 20 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Johnson goes in motion. Warwick Dunn gets the carry and nudges for a yard. Stopped by Hugh Douglas. Let's look at the Eagle defense. Douglas, Hollis Thomas, the outstanding rookie Corey Simon, and Brandon Whiting in the front four. Gardner, Trotter, and Emmons, the linebackers, and a good secondary. Taylor and Benson, the corners, Dawkins and Moore, the safety.
Yeah, Mike Allstott out here in the slot.
2nd and 9. Dunn is deep. King. Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, that's going to be a heck of a matchup today, whomever the corner is, because Keyshawn Johnson is a big wide receiver. Bobby Taylor is a big corner. So you have a big wide receiver going against a big corner. Bobby Taylor got caught in no man's land. I mean, he was up in a position where he couldn't bump him, and he was too far off to jump that pass.
They're both about 6'3". First down, Buccaneers outside. A little quickly for Patrick Hape. He couldn't get turned around.
You know, and that's the matchup that the Eagles like. As you say, both Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent are big corners, so therefore they figure that either one of them will match up well against Keyshawn Johnson. And with that, that allows them to blitz more than you would normally be able to blitz if you had to protect a weaker or maybe even a smaller corner.
2nd and 10. Opening drive of this match between the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Dunn comes out in motion. This is Allstott, who ducks under one tackler and lunges forward for about 3 yards.
Now they have that word for defensive tackles now where they call them stout. But Hollis Thomas and Corey Simon are two stout inside tackle.
Yes,
I'll tell you, it's tough to run in there, but they don't give you much. Simon is going to be something special. I mean, he's not just going to be a stout defensive tackle. Someday he's going to be a great one and a great pass rusher. The Eagles have their nickel defense, 5 defensive backs in now.
3rd and 8. Moore on the move. He stays in to try to block. Here comes the blitz. And Sean King just threw it away. There was nothing there.
And that's exactly what Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator of the Eagles, told us yesterday that he wanted to do on passing down. You know, stop the run, get him in shotgun, get him in 3rd down, and then come after him. And then make him throw the ball before he's ready. You see that? He wasn't ready to throw the ball. There was no one open. He tried to dump it out there to Warwick Dunn. I think he just threw it away.
And that was Simon right in his face. Ryan Mitchell. The punt against the wind, and this is a good kick. Mitchell around the corner is nudged out of bounds. Cold and blustery in Philadelphia. 0-0. We're in the 1st quarter at Veterans Stadium. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Donovan McNabb breaks the Eagle huddle.
This kind of reminds you of the old days, doesn't it? When we used to do so many championship playoff games here in Philadelphia and the cold weather.
McNabb back to throw on 1st down. Completes it to Cecil Martin. Very little gain. Here's the Eagle offense. The offensive line is a good one, and they've been together this entire season, which is remarkable these days. Torrance Small, Chris Warren, Cecil Martin, Chad Lewis, and Charles Johnson, those who will handle the ball. Chad Lewis headed for the Pro Bowl. And Donovan McNabb, the quarterback. You can see him mature as the days pass. Stanley Pritchett, the deep back. McNabb back to throw again. Fires complete. Torrance Small. First down, Philadelphia. Let's look at the Buccaneer defense. The front four is Steve White, Warren Sapp, McFarland, and Chidi Ahanatu. The linebackers, Brooks headed for the Pro Bowl. He's got a bad shoulder. Duncan in the middle, and Sheldon Quarles. Barber and Abraham, the corner. Two tight ends set up. Flea Flicker coming. McNabb. They only had one man deep.
Yeah, and that was Charles Johnson, and he was double covered, so the Buccaneers didn't go at all for that flea flicker. But here's Johnson. He's number 81. He has a fool there, and then John Lynch makes a recovery.
Yep.
Donnie Abraham stayed outside the whole time. If you're only going to run one guy deep, you better fool someone. There's John Lynch, number 47. Last time he came up, walked up as the 8th man there. In fact, he did it just then again.
McNabb to throw. And the pass is caught by Lewis. The tight end gets near a first down, not quite.
You know, that's one of the things. Usually the Buccaneers will play that 2 deep, and they're playing more 3 deep because they worry about Donovan McNabb running the ball. And that opens some other things up, like his tight end, Chad Lewis, who, as the season has gone on, Donovan McNabb has become more and more comfortable with Chad Lewis.
And Lewis is able to find the open spots.
Right, and he's caught over 60 passes this year. He's going to the Pro Bowl.
3rd and 3. McNabb back to throw it again. Throws it outside. That should be enough for a first to Stanley Pritchett. Depends on where they mark it. Maybe not.
It's going to be very close. It's interesting when they play cover 3, when they bring John Lynch up, then McNabb is going to his outside receivers. When they stay in cover 2, then he's going to his checkdowns as he did then and didn't get the first down.
And the Eagles will have to punt. And Sean Landeta has punted many times in weather conditions like this.
We saw him miss one in weather conditions like this in Chicago.
At Soldier Field. That's a great punt. An outstanding effort by Landeta. The Buccaneers take over at about their own 6.
And that was pretty much the pattern of the first quarter, both teams cancelling each other out. 0-0 was the score at the end of that quarter. When we come back, we're going to pick it up at the start of the second.
If you're single, or even if you're not, you'll always be welcome at the Singles Bar. People call in every day looking to chat, get a date, or perhaps something more. You'll find the Singles Bar on 09069 12 13 12. And we have thousands of callers every day looking for fun. So why don't you join me on 09069 12 13 12. Call us now. The new phone bar is fast and fun, and it's the easiest way to talk to exciting new people. You can swap messages or connect live for a private chat with anyone in the bar you like the sound of. With up to 240 people on the line right now, you're sure to find someone to interest you. Give it a try now and find out for yourself on 09069 121 131. That's 09069 121 131.
Our second NFC wildcard game of the weekend is 1 quarter old. It's also still scoreless after a pretty dogged first period of action. We can join it now in the second quarter. There's 14:05 on the clock. The Bucs have the ball. It's a first down on their own 31.
You know, Philadelphia, the city, takes a lot of bad raps about the behavior of the fans, but this really is quite a city.
I tell you, a lot of tradition here, and the fans are always there. I think they have great fans here.
That's Warwick Dunn. As Stanley Pritchett headed for the Eagle locker room, Warwick Dunn took the desperation pass from Sean King and picked up a Buccaneer first down.
Yesterday we were talking to Sean King about throwing into the wind or with the wind. You know, he's not a strong arm guy, and he said that if it's windy, he'll probably throw more check downs than he normally does. And of course, when he throws to Warwick Dunn, those are mostly check downs.
With a lot of potential usually too.
He's only thrown one to Keyshawn Johnson so far.
Here's King. Another to Johnson. And another Buck first down as they move into Eagle territory.
He's thrown two to Keyshawn Johnson. And that's the thing. I think when you have to take advantage of that. When you see like Troy Vincent playing off that far, and Keyshawn Johnson can drive him deep and get open by 5 or 6 yards, you have to take that.
Why not?
And then I think maybe that and going with the wind probably gives Sean King a little more confidence.
Keyshawn split wide right again, signaling to his quarterback. Here's King back to throw it. Drops it out to Allstock. And Allstock just lowers his shoulders and his head. Stopped finally by Trotter, but he got another Buck first down.
You know, one of the things that Jim Johnson always talks about is pad level and using the right pad. When you get Mike Allstock in the open field, you better use your inside shoulder and force him back inside, because you know he's not going to run out of bounds.
That's right.
You know, so you're either going to take him on or force him back where your help is coming from. Don't try and force him out of bounds. He's not going there.
9-yard pickup. They did a yard, and this is Allstock. And he'll have it and more. And Allstock thunders down inside the 20 to about the 17. Emmons finally made the stop.
I'll tell you,
Dawkins.
He's finding something in there. Look at this. They get a little motion here, so they got the tight end on this side. Get a good double team, and Allstock just runs right off that double team.
Patrick Hape in the game, and he'll be the pullback in front of Allstock.
Sometimes you need a little hole to get that hole open. They were holding Brandon Whiting on that one, but
they fake to Allstock. King fires it out of bounds. Intended for David Moore.
You know, what they did on that All-Star run, that one before where they did have the holding on Whiting, but it was a run blitz. And you know, sometimes when you run blitz, you will blitz into the hole and you'll get the guy before he gets started. But if it's picked up, you really lose a layer, because you lose a layer of linebackers. So when you get through that, you go right to the secondary. So Allstock has caught him so far in a couple of run blitzes.
2nd and 10. Allstock's out. Dunn is in. King goes back. They're in grammatical range, certainly. Here's King. Whips it outside. That's Patrick Hape on Dave Moore, the tight end. Thought it was Hape coming out of the backfield, but it's Moore.
The thing about Sean King, I think maybe, as we said earlier, maybe going with the wind has given him something. But I think when he got the ball to Keyshawn Johnson, I think that helped a little, because it got him a little deeper, you know, backed everything off a little, softened the defense up a little. Then you can go back to your running game again and your shorter passing. But I think if they're going to have offense today, and if they're going to win, Keyshawn Johnson has to be a part of it.
Allstock is in the slot. Now he moves back in. And King gives to Warwick Dunn. Dunn gets down to about the 11. Stopped by Trotter. And here comes the field goal unit for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but this is one that I think they were playing this conservatively. You know, where you figure we have 3rd down, instead of throwing the ball, let's just go a draw, get as far as we can, and then just kick a field goal, because that was too much territory to have to pick up a 1st down on a draw play.
Gramatica missed against Green Bay last week. But he doesn't miss this one. And the Buccaneers go ahead 3-0 with 10:16 left to play in the first half. Damian Douglas and Brian Mitchell back deep for Grammaticus kickoff. This one with the wind, but Douglas will have a chance. Douglas hit at the 25 by Todd Yoder. Current weather here at Veterans Stadium, temperature is 34 degrees, but with the wind chill, 9 degrees. At Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Pat Summerall with John Madden. 3-0 Tampa Bay. The Eagles have the ball at their own 26. McNabb outside to Charlie Johnson. They're still fighting for yardage, and there's a flag on the play. Johnson wouldn't go down. In the process, the flag came flying in.
Warren Sapp really took off on that one to get penetration on Donovan McNabb. Mike Carey, our referee. This is an all-star crew where, you know, they're graded and
face mask, incidental, under defense, number 21. 5 yards. The enforcement results in a first down.
Donnie Abraham accidentally grabbed.
Well, he hasn't yet. You know, I don't know that he did. You know, sometimes they call that face mask, and it's not a face mask. It's a phantom face mask. Donnie Abraham just missed the tackle.
Yep.
His hand wiped across the face mask, but he didn't grab it.
Enough for an Eagle first down.
When a receiver moves his head like that, it looks like one, but that was just a missed tackle by Donnie Abraham.
Mitchell is the one back as McNabb goes to throw. And that's Mitchell, and let's go down to DJ Johnson.
Hey, John, you said that Donovan McNabb was about 70% of the Eagles' offense. He may have to become more now. Stanley Pritchard, as you saw, limped off the field. He has a left knee sprain, and he's questionable upon his return. Back to you, Pat.
All right, DJ, thank you. 2nd and 8 coming up. So it looks like Mitchell is going to take Pritchard's place as the lone back.
As the one back, yeah, because Stanley Pritchard was going to do all the single back. And well, that play again where it was Derek Brooks just hit him right on the knee as he was standing there to make a move.
2nd and 8, and here comes the blitz on McNabb, and he's going to get away from it. But one of the things the Buccaneers said they had to do when McNabb started to step up and run was to rush smart.
Yeah, and that means don't get beyond him. If we could just stop it right now, we don't want these guys to get behind where McNabb is. That time they had 3 guys behind him, so he was able to do it. You see, what they want to do is if you ever get behind him, just stop. Of course, he steps up right now, and he makes 3 guys get behind him. But the Buccaneers run so well, rally so well, and tackle so well, they can still make a play.
3rd and 8. To Mitchell, but they're right there at the line of scrimmage. Again, they do react to the ball, don't they?
That's the thing they do, and then they also tackle well. And we're going to see Warren Sapp here, and you'll get in the pass rush. He's there on Wellborn, and he just gets the push, he gets a double team. Now he has to stop. And of course, by that time, the ball was already out of there.
Carl Williams back deep for Landetta's punt.
But this Eagle line has kind of kept Warren Sapp quiet this first part of the game.
Buccaneers look like they're going to put the rush on Landetta, and they do. But he gets off a good kick. There's that signal drop. Williams drops on him. He makes his own recovery. That's Warwick Dunn with the ball. picked up.
Warwick Dunn is so little. Yesterday when we were talking to him, we asked him, how do you not get hurt? I mean, it's a stupid question because he's been playing so long little. I mean, he was little in high school, little in college, little in the pros, #1 draft pick. But he says when he goes down, he said he just gets in a fetal position. And you see him that day. He went down and he was in a fetal position. After the play's over, you're not going to get any more of him than that.
We got 4 yards.
And he never gets hit squarely.
Keyshawn Johnson on the move. Intended for Jacquez Green. Thrown too hard. Never had a chance, did he?
No, that one didn't. I think again, you hate to keep saying Keyshawn Johnson, but that's what they got him for. They got him for these games, to make plays in these games, and I think that on a slant, if I were going to throw a slant, I'd rather throw it to Keyshawn Johnson than I would to Jacquez Green. Now, if I'm going to throw something deep and I need speed, then that's when I'll use Jacquez Green.
Here comes Keyshawn on the move. The Eagles showed blitz and backed up a minute, and here's the screen pass to Dunn. And Warwick Dunn picks up what appears to be a Tampa Bay first down, stopped by Caldwell.
He's a little scooter, isn't he? I mean, he gets down. He said he never wears sleeves because he doesn't want to fumble. Some guys wear those long sleeves underneath. He said he won't do it because he wants to let his arms feel the ball. So from his elbows on down, you see, he always had a part of the skin that he could put the football against.
I love when you asked him yesterday, how do you get used to being little? And he said, well, I can fight. Don't forget I can fight.
That was stupid what I said, and I didn't mean that at all.
Well, he's rolled up this time. Just barely got the ball from Sean King.
And they're having a discussion about it here. Now, we talked about how much the Eagles were going to blitz, and they blitzed an awful lot today on both run and pass. You can see it now. I mean, they hit that thing before he even gets a chance.
Damon Moore.
And Damon Moore was up in that hole, and he blitzed and was unblocked, and kind of Sean King and Warwick Dunn and Moore all got there at the same time.
2nd and 15, and here's another blitz, and Dunn with no place to go again.
That time it was Carlos Emmons, the linebacker, and they're blitzing him more. It seems like as the season goes on, Carlos Emmons is becoming a bigger part of this defense and a bigger part of this blitzing.
Big, tall guy, too.
Early in the game, he was the first guy that got penetration against their offense, and he did again there. And the Bucs are having trouble running draw plays because it's tough to run a draw play into a blitz, whether that blitz be a run blitz or a passing blitz.
3rd and 19. King drops the throw. And is hit just as he let the ball go, or did he let it go? This might be the Eagles' ball. I think it is.
I'll tell you, Hugh Douglas came from that backside and really unloaded on Sean King. George Hegeman is number 78. He's pointing the other way, hoping it is that ball.
It's the Philadelphia Eagles' ball.
Because that was his man. Hugh Douglas made that play. Watch him. He's going to come from Sean King's backside. He starts to throw, and watch. Here comes Hugh Douglas right there. And he just unloaded right up between his shoulder pads, and the ball just pops right up. Point.
Recovered by Mike Mamula. This one might be reviewed.
I don't know if there's any review there or not, but, again, it's the arm going forward with the ball in his hand and all that stuff. But watch Hugh Douglas. He uses that speed rush from that backside.
And the Buccaneers have not asked for this to be reviewed.
Well, they have all the way up until the ball is snapped.
Is his arm coming forward?
Hugh Douglas all the way. You can see Warwick Dunn tried to get him. I don't know. I think his arm came forward, but I think it came forward after the ball went out. And once this ball is snapped right now, it's all academic anyway.
That's right.
Can be reviewed, but not now.
McNabb back to throw, and he's going to take off. And McNabb is inside the 10 to the 5.
Now this crowd's into it. This is the Philadelphia crowd. There's Hugh Douglas getting excited. He's the guy that made it all possible with a great pass rush. And then Donovan McNabb, we talked about being 85% in December. You can see why. Because he can do it with his arms, his legs. He can start to run and throw. That field is a little more slippery than it looks, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
One thing that the Buccaneers knew that they had to do was keep containment on Donovan McNabb, and they didn't on that last play.
Blocked by Cecil Martin, got him around the corner.
Cecil Martin's a good guy. I talked to him yesterday. He went to the University of Wisconsin, grew up in Chicago in a homeless shelter. He was recruited from a homeless shelter to go to Wisconsin, and now, he's such a giving guy. This is. Got to talk more about the Cecil Martins of the NFL, because this is a guy that, believe me, is a special guy.
He is number 38. Here's McNabb rolling right. Chase, he throws it away.
He just had to. He had no one on him, and it was either run out of bounds, take a sack, or throw it away. And when you get a situation where it's first down, that's the best decision right there, is just throw it away.
Nay Brown takes Cecil Martin's place in the Eagle offense, a third receiver.
That means that they're going to have a 4-wide receiver look, 2 wide receivers on either side. Now with motion, there'll be 3 wide receivers on this side.
McNabb, and from behind is McNabb. He just got rid of it. Rondé Barber chasing him from behind.
Rondé Barber is a corner, but he probably blitzes more than anyone. And you're going to see him come from this backside. He lines up here, and you can just see the speed with which he comes. If you're going to blitz McNabb and he's rolling out, you better be blitzing with speed, because he can run away from you.
I think McNabb heard him coming.
And with the speed, McNabb runs like a 4.5 40. So with that speed, he was able to get away from Rondé Barber to get the ball off.
3rd and goal with the 5. McNabb on the quarterback draw. Is in the inside for a touchdown. The Eagles take the lead.
It all started with Hugh Douglas's pass rush, and it ended up with Donovan McNabb running it in. You look at the leader of their defense, it's Hugh Douglas. The leader of their offense is McNabb. They made the plays on this drive.
Akers for the extra point. Detmer's holding. Akers' extra point puts the Eagles up by 4.
Look at this. It's an old jump shot. Usually Donovan McNabb does that. That time was his left tackle. That was Trey Thomas who made the shot. These are usually the things that Donovan McNabb does after a touchdown. See, he has jump shots, and he has dunks, and he has dribbles, and
that football's hard to dribble.
Right, but he was a basketball player at Syracuse.
And a good one.
That time he just gave it, that last one, he just gave it to Trey Thomas. Here it is right here, and he lets Trey Thomas take that jumper. Trey Thomas looked like Shaquille O'Neal shooting a free throw
shot.
Yeah. I saw him the other night shoot one, and it was just like a line drive right to the basket. That was the way Trey Thomas did it. He went to that Shaq school. But David, that was a good drive by the Eagles, but again, it was made possible by Hugh Douglas making that big play on defense and getting that ball out of Sean King.
McNabb will kick off this time against the wind. Carl Williams and Abdullah are back deep for the Buccaneers. That's Carl Williams. Up to about the 37. Keyshawn Johnson comes wide left.
Better get Hugh Douglas blocked if they're going to pass.
Yep. Here's King across the 40. Stopped by Barry Gardner.
Yeah, Sean King and Donovan McNabb are good buddies. In fact, Sean King was going to go over to McNabb's house last night for dinner, but because of that snowstorm, he decided there was no way he was going to leave the hotel. And I guess the coaches told him, let's just stay around here anyway. But when we talked to McNabb earlier, he had shorts on.
He had shorts on.
When we talked to McNabb earlier, he had the whole night planned. Yeah, we're gonna bring in takeout food. We're gonna watch a movie and not talk about football.
Johnson goes in motion. King gets straight ahead to Warwick Dunn. Not much.
Yeah, one of the things we watched that touchdown again. Watch McNabb here. He's going to tap his helmet. You see right there. Then he goes to the other side to do it like it's going to be. He has the 4 wide receivers out there, making them think it's a pass, making everyone selling pass all the way, and then that was a run all the way. That was a draw.
2 minutes to go in the first half with the Philadelphia Eagles leading Tampa Bay 7-3. Back at Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia leading Tampa Bay 7-3. 3rd and 5 for the Bucs. 2 minutes to go in the first half. King back in the shotgun. No blitz this time. Down the sideline. Backways Green, the intended target. Nothing there. Al Harris right with him.
Al Harris is a good corner. He's the 3rd corner, and he's in there now because they have 3 wide receivers. Bobby Taylor takes a slot. He takes a corner, and he's a good player. I mean, and in fact, Jim Johnson doesn't call him his 3rd corner or backup. He calls him a starting corner. He said he's as good as most starting corners in football.
Royals to punt. Mitchell will return it from his own 15 with some room. Out to the 31. Buccaneers have 2 timeouts left. The Eagles have all 3 of theirs.
This is pretty good, playing a late game on a Sunday in Philadelphia that's also New Year's Eve, and people can come out and
nice and cold.
Nice and cold, a little fresh.
Yep. McNabb across the middle to Mitchell, who gets out of bounds, but not enough. They keep the clock running. Brian Kelly made the stop, but they have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Now they don't.
Yeah, they should have taken one about 10 seconds ago. He can't get it. He can't get the referee to call the timeout. McNabb here, he's a good guy. Brian Mitchell has been making big plays for a lot of years in this league as a pass receiver, as a kick returner, as a draw runner, as a 3rd down back, and he does give McNabb another weapon out there. But the other thing about Brian Mitchell, remember, he just has big hands.
Yeah.
And he's able to catch anything one hand. I mean, that was a heck of a catch when he was coming one way and then turning back and then grabbing it with one hand.
Now let's go down to DJ Johnson.
Hey, Pat and John, I talked to Donovan McNabb yesterday about his rookie year last year. We sat and watched from the sideline. He said that was good for him. He said that was good for him instead of getting thrown into the fire, because he got to see what happens as an NFL defense attacks a quarterback. He said sometimes when you're in a game, you get sacked, you don't know why. He said you miss a read, you don't know why. He said standing on the sideline, he got to see all that. He learned the patience, he learned where to go with the ball, and that benefited him. Back up to you, Pat.
McNabb to Mitchell. Another timeout called by McNabb.
Yeah, it was interesting. The first game that McNabb played a year ago
was against Tampa Bay.
Was against Tampa Bay in the second half, and Doug Peterson was the starting quarterback at that time, and Trent Dilfer was the starting quarterback from the Bucs. And Donovan McNabb said he was sitting in there at halftime, and he said he was just kind of sitting there watching what was going on, and Andy Reid walked up to him and said, "Okay, second half's all yours."
Yours.
That's all he said.
What does that mean?
Here it was.
You got it.
I think he got sacked 5 times in that game, and that was his initiation to the National Football League. But from that period where, you know, he played and then later in the season became a starter until now, he's come a long, 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 long way.
In confidence and his performance on the field, but particularly in the way he conducts himself. He's become a real leader.
But look at this red line here. We talked to the kickers and watched them in the pregame warm-up and decided where the ball had to be, where their range was, and that's where the Eagles' range is, where that red line is.
Here comes the blitz after McNabb, and they don't get there, and he throws incomplete.
Those are some great moves that he made. It was going to go down as an incomplete pass. But those were great moves. I mean, it's something when you can make moves and then make moves when you have a ball. And I think this has to come from basketball, where you can make moves with a ball in your hand. I mean, he has the ball there, but watch how he just has a ball, and the ball's flipping around there, and he's making those moves, and then has to end up throwing the ball.
To handle a cold ball like that, it's harder and slicker. You got to have pretty good hands. This is Mitchell. Gets down across the Buccaneer 40 to about the 38.
Buccaneers have one more timeout. I think this wouldn't be a bad time to take your timeout in order to get your first down. He's going to spend so much time here calling this play. If he gets a first down, it's going to be okay.
McNabb is back. Heads for the sideline. He's going to be hemmed up there, but he gets rid of the ball to Mitchell. Lynch is saying he was out of bounds. I don't know if he won his argument or not. I don't think so. That could be just enough to get into field goal range.
And it's enough for a first down. It's enough for a first down. He caught that ball. He has both feet inbound. That's a catch.
He's in.
Now I think they have 31 seconds. Now they still have their timeout. He could get a couple plays in here before they have to try the field goal.
Akers loosening up on the sideline. First and 10 at the 30. McNabb throws outside incomplete. Johnson couldn't hang on. Another reminder coming up in the Visa halftime report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris. They'll have highlights and analysis of today's wild card games. And our Fox Sports sticker will have up to the second stats. All coming up on the Visa halftime report. 27 seconds from now.
One of these plays, he's going to have a second and third down play. One play you'd like to get some more yardage for your kicker, David Akers. Another play, I think you would take a shot to the end zone.
Here's McNabb again. He's going to take off, and then he throws. And gets the ball to Johnson, and Johnson gets it down well within field goal range.
They got to take the timeout.
17 seconds.
And I think that was the play. They had 2 ups going on the outside. I think that was the play that they were trying to take their shot on. Here's what it looks like from the pass rush. You see Donovan McNabb. I think he was looking to his outside to the right. Then he saw a lane. Now he can either run in that lane or he can run in that lane and throw the ball. And that's what he did to Charles Johnson there. Charles Johnson did a good job Watch him there.
Yep.
He feels that strip coming. Now watch him change hands here. You see, he starts to put his hand there, and he knows that Brooks is coming in there, so he starts to protect the ball. It's funny that, you know, that stripping is such a big thing now that these receivers and running backs are starting to feel the strip from behind coming. They used to be unaware of it.
It's first and goal at the 5. And 17 seconds remaining in the first half.
See, now with no timeouts left, you really can't run the ball, and you really can't run on the 5-yard line. You shouldn't throw it short of the goal line anyway. You have to throw the ball into the end zone. You know, that last play, one of the things that happened is because Donovan McNabb is such a good runner, those guys that were dropped, you know, that would be in that area where Charles Johnson caught the ball, they came up to stop the run, and that's why he was able to throw it in there.
First and goal at the 5, 17 seconds left. Here's McNabb, chased and throws in the end zone, touchdown. Nay Brown got behind the Tampa Bay defenders. He just threw it up in the air, it looked like, and somebody came down with it. Nay Brown.
But again, he's able to get away from the rush and buy a little time, and then Nate Brown was going, and that's a place to throw. That's the safest pass you can throw is to that second pylon. Throw it to the back of the end zone where either your guy catches it or it's incomplete.
Boy, they turned things around in a hurry. Akers' extra point is good with 12 seconds left.
Look at McNabb after the touchdown. I mean, he knows it because he walked there, and then a big smile comes to his face.
It appeared to me that he was just throwing it away. And all of a sudden, Nate Brown appeared.
But that's not a bad place to throw it. We used to, when I was coaching, we used to have a pattern that we would just throw to that back or second pylon, and then you would come and you would go to that part. See, here's what it is, and you just see, you can't see the second pylon, but you're going to just throw it to that area. If you look here, he starts to the inside, and then he goes right back to the outside. You know, they think he's going to run a slant or a cross. They play to take the slant or the cross away, and Nate Brown ran what we used to call a slant corner.
It's a touchdown pass, whatever it's called.
McNabb's fun to watch.
Yeah, he really is.
Pretty good. He could do it. I mean, you know that he does it with his feet, and he does it with his arms, and then he does it with a combination, like that one earlier to Charles Johnson, of the feet and the arms.
Well, they got two, and he's run for one and thrown for one. Akers. Dell Anthony, no place to go.
The other thing is it looks like Donovan McNabb out here, like I said, he's always smiling. It looks like he's come out here just to play a game. You know, he's looking, he's smiling, he's laughing, he's looking at guys, he's winking, he's doing all those things, and somewhere in the game, I think it has to be fun, don't you?
Oh yeah. If it's not fun, I think you're in the wrong business.
I don't know if it's so much fun for Herman Edwards right now when they're down 14-3, and
they're just going to run it out.
There's a flag.
There's a flag on the play.
It can end if it's an offensive penalty. The half or game cannot end on a defensive penalty. So if this penalty is against the defense, they have to come back out.
They didn't have time to get too far.
Illegal formation, offense. Only 6 men on the line.
The half is over.
Only 10 men on the field. Penalty is declined at the end of the half.
That's not a very good, it wasn't a very good start, a very good middle, or a very good end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, there you go. This Tampa Bay know all about the problems that they have in these particular situations. Might plug himself in there for a second. There he is with us. So I feel comfortable asking you the question now that you gotcha. That's after a zip first period, first quarter there, which is obviously as dogged as we saw for the first couple of plays there. I guess it's McNabb who's the man who can open up again.
Donovan McNabb looks like he's playing basketball out there. John Madden's, sort of made the point. But it looks like he comes down and can do what he wants with the ball. It's like he's in a little one-on-one game, even though he's not. And he's done that all season for the Eagles. He just makes plays when he has to. And anyone who saw him play at Syracuse knows that he can do this. The advantage he has is he can also play the normal quarterback's game if he has to. He can sit in the pocket and he can deliver the ball, which Sean King really can't, or at least the Bucs don't think he can. You notice they're not throwing the ball to Jaquez Green. When they're going into the wind, they're not throwing the ball downfield at all. They're running slants to Keyshawn Johnson, which against Bobby Taylor is a tough way to make yardage. And they're not getting very far on pounding the ball, but they're not running up the middle. They're almost running at the Eagles' strength, which is those defensive ends. And George Hageman, who's another one of our old friends from his days in Frankfurt, is going to have a tough day against Hugh Douglas. He already is. He's not getting any run blocking on Hugh Douglas, and he's basically battling him about 50-50 on the passes.
But you definitely get that sense, King McNabb. You see a guy who looks like he's in complete control of his game, and it doesn't hurt being in front of a crowd like that when you're doing it. And King, who's definitely under pressure all the time.
Yeah, and the Eagles crowd is a loud one. The field looks a bit slippery. Looking at it, the weather conditions obviously don't favor the Bucs.
Don't get no better either.
But really, the Bucs need to start putting some pressure defensively on Donovan McNabb, and they're not getting it from their front four. The Eagles' offensive line is doing a great job on, Sapp is really the only guy getting any penetration. They're going to have to start coming with people from elsewhere than their front four if they're going to put pressure on McNabb, but they have to put pressure on McNabb.
Pressure is what it's all about now, and obviously the Bucs are going to have to do this one, but behind if they're going to do it. Second half coming up after the break.
The new phone bar is fast and fun, and it's the easiest way to talk to exciting new people. You can swap messages or connect live for a private chat with anyone in the bar you like the sound of. With up to 240 people on the line right now, you're sure to find someone to interest you. Give it a try now and find out for yourself on 09069 121 131. That's 09069 121 131. If you're single, or even if you're not, you'll always be welcome at the Singles Bar. People call in every day looking to chat, get a date, or perhaps something more. You'll find the Singles Bar on 09069 12 13 12. And we have thousands of callers every day looking for fun. So why don't you join me on 09069 12 13 12. Call us now.
We're halfway through the last of our wildcard games, 14-3. It's a lead for the Eagles over the Buccaneers in a very, very cold Philadelphia indeed. Half a game, though, for the Buccaneers to get back into this one. We'll find out now if they can do it. We'll rejoin the game. It's around 10 minutes in. The Eagles have the ball. It's a 1st and 10 on the 43-yard line. Once again, Pat Summerall and John Madden will talk you through it.
The Buccaneers have never won in the cold weather when it's 39 or less. They're 0-19. That's what that sign was for 0-20. Talking about today. That's Chris Warren. Got a couple.
I went to the Eagles practice on Friday, and I've never seen a better pace for a practice than these guys have. And so much of that is Andy Reid. I mean, I think that quietly he's come in here and he's really built a program in 2 years. And the 49ers used to practice quicker than anyone else when Bill Walsh was there. And then Mike Shanahan had that. Mike Holmgren had that. And right now, of all the teams that I've seen, this Eagle team practices at a better pace than anyone I've seen in this league.
McNabb quickly over the middle. Pass caught by Chad Lewis. Not much there. You know what? When we were at practice yesterday, I noticed the Eagles, they seem to be having a good time as well as fast-paced.
Well, we were talking to Troy Vincent about that, and I said, what's the difference in the Eagles now? I mean, what's brought about this research? And he said two things. One, Donovan McNabb. We got him, and then, you know, he's special, and the other one is Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, yeah.
So Andy Reid came in here and gave us a program, gave us discipline, gave us organization, but lets us be our own personality.
3rd and 1. McNabb back to throw it. Now he's coming out of the pocket. Now he fakes, and he's taken off. When he takes off, sometimes he fakes with the ball, but as Warren Sapp said yesterday, he's not going to throw it. He's going to run it.
Well, especially when he gets beyond the line of scrimmage, he can, but all quarterbacks do that. And all defenders still go for it.
Still bite.
I mean, they'll still bite for it. Because as Sapp said, once he gets out of here like this, he's going to run with it. Of course, you know he's going to run with it, but the thing is he runs fast with it. That's a big thing with McNabb.
And he's big.
4'5".
Here's McNabb back to throw. Lofting it deep for Johnson. Flag on the play. It's going to be pass interference.
That's against Donnie Abraham.
Against Abraham, right.
Donnie Abraham's having a tough day. Missing tackles, getting the penalty called on him here. Here he's pushing. I think he's okay. And then he put the right arm. He put the right arm in like an arm bar, and they don't let him do that. Then he got the other hand in too, so he had a double dip there. So that's Warren Sapp out here. John Welborn blocking him pretty well. Whoops. Welborn gave him the old knee.
In the back.
Huh?
After he got him down, yes.
Warren Sapp only has 1 tackle. Derek Brooks has 7. John Lynch has 2. John Welborn's a tough guy. He's a tough guy. He and John Runyon.
Chris Warren down to about the 10 as the Eagles try to put it away.
That's not going to like when he sees the Welborn hit to him. I mean, he blocked him out, then pushed him down, and then gave him the old knee in the back.
Warren limps back toward the Eagle bench. Replaced by Brian Mitchell.
You know who brought all that toughness to that Eagle offensive line is John Runyon.
John Runyon. He affects everybody.
Yeah, they got him from Tennessee, and you know, usually offensive linemen are a little more passive. John Runyon is very, very aggressive.
Mitchell straight ahead. Close to the 10, close to a first.
So we talk about all these things, and it's controlling that line of scrimmage. I mean, you need the Donovan McNabbs, but you need the John Welborns, you need the John Runyons, you need Trey Thomas, you need Mayberry, you need those guys too to control that line of scrimmage. And you just get the feeling around the end of the second quarter that offensive line started to take over the game.
Don't forget the center, Bubba Miller. He doesn't get much notoriety.
He gets to touch the ball every play. Yeah. The other guys don't even get to touch the ball.
That's true. Here's the handoff to Chris Warren, who gets it 1st and goal at the 5.
This was 2 plays ago. And again, you see the good vision that Mitchell has there until he meets John Lynch. You know, the first thing you're looking is the first layer is the defensive line. The second layer is a linebacker. And the third layer is the secondary. And when the secondary sneaks up into that first layer, like John Lynch does, sometimes you don't see him.
It's 1st and goal at the 6. Warren, the ball carrier, barely got it back to where it began. This Buccaneers defense has been on the field an awful lot.
The Eagles have added 12 minutes, 17 seconds to 2:43 for the Bucs.
And that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score Philadelphia 14, Tampa Bay 3.
If you're single, or even if you're not, you'll always be welcome at the Singles Bar. People call in every day looking to chat, get a date, or perhaps something more? You'll find the Singles Bar on 09069 12 13 12. And we have thousands of callers every day looking for fun. So why don't you join me on 09069 12 13 12. Call us now.
The new phone bar is fast and fun, and it's the easiest way to talk to exciting new people. You can swap messages or connect live for a private chat with anyone in the bar you like the sound of. With up to 240 people on the line right now, you're sure to find someone to interest you. Give it a try now and find out for yourself on 09069 121 131. That's 09069 121 131.
Pat Summerall, John Madden at Veterans Stadium, where the Eagles lead Tampa Bay 14-3, and they're closing in on another touchdown. Brian Mitchell. The Tampa Bay defense may have something to say about that, and they might have been onside as well. As McNabb throws in the corner, incomplete, a flag on the play.
I think there was a flag initially, and then there was another flag thrown in the end zone.
Offside. Defense. Number 83.
There might be more to this.
Half the distance to the goal. Still second down.
No, there isn't more to this.
Again, this is an all-star officiating crew. If there was offside, it's right here.
Yep.
That's who it was. It was Rondé Barber. And again, we talked about Rondé Barber being a corner, but one of their top blitzers. They probably blitz Rondé Barber, their corner, as much as they blitz their linebackers or safeties.
Half the distance to the goal line. Moves it down to the 6, and it's still, to the 3, and it's still second down.
You think when they get down in this area, they could run a bootleg to McNabb anytime they wanted to for a touchdown?
Well, they just might. They give it to Warren, and Warren stopped at the 2.
That's something Chris Warren just a couple of weeks ago was with the Dallas Cowboys, and Andy Reid needed a running back. He was.
Well, he's been needing a running back for a long time.
Deuce Staley, but then he had Darnell Autry, and then Autry got hurt. Anyway, the Cowboys cut Chris Warren. He was waived. The Eagles picked him up.
Now you might expect McNabb. Warren's the deep back. And McNabb, touchdown. Jeff Thomason.
All he does is score touchdowns. Jeff Thomason has caught like 11 passes, and 6 of them are for touchdowns. There's Jeff Lurie, the owner.
And the fireworks.
If New Year's Eve in Philadelphia and the Eagles playing like this.
And Lurie looks happy. Akers for the extra point. 1 more quarter to go, and the Eagles lead 21-3.
And he does fire this. That's a play pass. You fake the run, and poof, does he drill that thing in there to Thomason.
The Eagles ahead 21-3. The Bucs could do nothing on their next possession, and we rejoin the action with the Eagles with the ball. 1st and 10 on their own 41 in a festive-looking Philly.
9 inches of snow. Today it's beautiful. If you're on the Eagles side of the field, I'm sure. The Eagles with a commanding 21-3 lead, trying to add to it. Donovan McNabb takes off. He's lassoed after about a yard.
Well, he's not getting the big pass rush he was getting earlier, and it's going to be tougher to run because did you notice how many of those defensive linemen and linebackers were along the line of scrimmage? That's one of the things when you calm them down, then they don't get up the field like they used to. then when they don't get up the field like they used to, you don't get the lanes like you used to.
They're rushing smart, but not by choice.
No, they're rushing slow now. They're getting close to having been whipped.
2nd and 8. Here's McNabb. Out of the pocket and over the head of the intended receiver, Thomason. 3rd and 8. McNabb. The Bucs come up with the ball. Donnie Abraham, who'd had a tough afternoon, partially at least redeems himself.
Well, that's one of the things that, you know, we talked earlier that the Bucs do so well is they get takeaways. And you see right there, he just was a slant. Yep. He was back off and he just jumped it.
So the Bucs get a break. Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, 21-3. Les Steckel.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that, you know, I was just thinking that they ought to go some no huddle, you know, to pick up the pace, and they had success with it last week against Green Bay, and we can see that they're going to it now. You know, they have to pick up the pace and they have to change momentum, and this is a way to do it.
3-man line for the Eagles. McNabb, I beg your pardon, Sean King to Keyshawn Johnson, a flag on the play. As Keyshawn went out of bounds.
You know, and they're doing a couple things back to back that they had to. You know, turnovers on defense, change the pace.
Offense, number 81, 10 yards, remains 2nd down.
Called against Jacquizz Green.
Yeah, Jacquizz Green, it has to be a pick. You see, Keyshawn Johnson catches a ball. They call it against Jacquizz Green right there. See, he comes in there and he picks Bobby Taylor. Bobby Taylor knows. Look at Bobby Taylor going back there and saying he was picked. There are legal ways to pick and illegal ways. You know, you can run your pattern at that guy, make him go around you, but you can't run into him.
And now they're marking off the penalty as the Bucs come out of the huddle. 2nd and 11. Here comes the blitz. King gets rid of it. Riddell Anthony was down, got back up.
And they said he was down. They're not going to let the backup go. Here's the Eagle defense. You can see they're using a 3-man line, but then they're bringing the blitz. They're bringing the safeties. They're bringing the outside linebackers. Again, that's the thing. Anytime Sean King is passing, they want to put pressure or blitz on him.
3rd and 4. King. The stretch by Anthony is not quite enough.
Someone just ran right over George Hegeman. Well, you can see George Hegeman. Watch him right here. Well, Hugh Douglas just knocks him right on his back.
Yeah.
You know, that's where, you know, George Hegeman weighs about 100 pounds more than Hugh Douglas. That's all about leverage.
4th, and they're going for it. 4th and 4.
They're going to go for a timeout.
And now they take a timeout. Yeah.
You know, you talk about Donald McNabb, so is Hugh Douglas.
Yes, sir. Been a pretty impressive day. Tony Dungy, Buccaneer head coach, 4th and 4, and they're going for it. Sean King operating out of the shotgun formation. Throws incomplete. The Eagles will take over. Intended for Keyshawn Johnson, covered by Benson.
And we've talked about that all day, how one of the things that the Eagles do so well is they cover so well. And then again, because they cover so well, and here we see Troy Vincent right here. You see, he jumps on that slant and just gets that right hand in there. Keyshawn Johnson wants the penalty flag, but I think Troy Vincent got in there free.
So the Buccaneers failing to make any headway. We rejoin the game with 6:30 on the clock and the temperature dropping all the time. Tampa Bay still chasing the game. Have a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory.
Back at Veterans Stadium, where the crowd is getting more and more vocal and happier and happier.
Temperature's the same as the score.
Yep.
And there's more and more guys taking their shirts off.
King throws outside to Keyshawn Johnson. And that's not going to help the cause much.
Well, none of the passes that Sean King has thrown have helped the cause much. They've all been the short variety. They're trying to, again, go with no huddle to change the pace.
Second and 7. The Eagles bring the pressure. King throws upfield, incomplete to his tight end, Dave Moore. There's Charles Johnson, who has an ankle sprain. That's encouraging. It's not the knee. He will not come back today, but...
And was putting his helmet on.
Well, he looks like he is.
And if he's not coming back today, no one's told him. But I think those 3 things are good news.
Yeah.
1, that it's his ankle, not his knee. 2, that he's walking around like he is. And 3, they just put his hat on.
He wants to come back. 3rd down and 7.
Boy, everyone take their shirts off. New Year's Eve.
Go ahead.
Everyone.
Here's King in the end zone. Scrambles around and lets it go deep to Keyshawn, who comes down with it and makes the catch. Kept the feet in bounds.
And then you're going to say, why didn't you do that all day?
Yeah.
Why do you have to wait until the end like this to do it?
Well, remember how much time he has.
Yeah, I mean, these are types of things that I think that you can do. I mean, not all day, but Keyshawn Johnson is the type of guy that he can have coverage and you can still throw it up to him and he can still catch the ball.
There are a few receivers around who can do that.
Yeah, Randy Moss is one. Randy Moss has more speed than Keyshawn Johnson.
King throws incomplete. Benson, the nearest person to it.
Yeah, Sean King, not the most accurate of passers today. At some point, this has to be addressed. I mean, all these things with the Bucs, if they lose, the weather, their offense not helping their defense, not being able to get first downs. I mean, they're a pretty good team that's right on the border, but they have to do something about those things.
They've been on the border for about 3 years now.
And it's the same type of thing. I mean, they don't get anything done.
Start. Offense.
Well, they brought in Keyshawn.
5 yards. Remains second down.
Right, and that didn't do it. They got rid of Mike Shula. They blamed Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, for it. And that didn't change things. So that's Les Steckel. What the heck is that?
He's suffering for some reason.
That's what
I guess
happened.
the score.
Yeah, well, that offense, that Tampa Bay offense, he's in charge of that offense, and someone just told him what the production was.
King trying to throw a screen. Does to Warren Dunn, and he almost lost his head, and here's the flag down.
I don't know, did Bobby Taylor even hit him? He looked like from here, like he missed him. Warren Dunn is going to fight him now.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah. He told us that yesterday. He said, I'm a fighter.
He said, I'll fight you.
It looked like when Bobby Taylor ran by, it looked like from here that he threw an elbow at him.
Yeah.
But I thought from here, again, I thought he missed him. Obviously, there's a flag. He didn't miss him, and the way Warwick Dunn is reacting, he didn't miss him. Mike Carey just told us.
Now they're motioning in the other direction. The Eagles are.
Offense, number 73. 15 yards. Remains second down.
So anyway, what Bobby Taylor did, that wasn't the foul.
Yep.
This is what I saw right here. So you missed the ball, and I saw Bobby Taylor. I didn't think Bobby Taylor hit him.
He didn't throw an elbow at him. He got him with his shoulder.
He looked like he was going to, and then he ran right by him. And that's what they call, that's a clip right there on Emmons. So that thing with Warwick Dunn and Bobby Taylor wasn't the penalty.
And they back it up. Second down and 30.
That's a tough one. That'll make an offensive coordinator rub his head.
Here's Sean King. Can't find any place to go. Throws it finally up the middle. Keyshawn Johnson comes down with it. Not enough for a first down, but picked up a few yards.
And that's going to bring up third down. That's the, it's probably too much too late. But I mean, the thing about Keyshawn Johnson is a wide receiver that you always talk about the tight end being the big target in the middle. He can be a wide receiver, but coming across that middle could be a big target.
And he'll catch it. He doesn't mind coming in the middle. King. Pass is caught by Keyshawn. In the middle. Flag on the play.
And it's right back there at the area that Sean King threw the ball.
Roughing the passer, I would think.
That's usually when they throw it right at the quarterback. I think it was Hugh Douglas.
The late hit.
Yeah, he hit Sean King after he threw the ball.
Personal foul. A roughing the passer. Number 20 of the defense. A blow to the head. 15 yards.
Brian
automatic
Dawkins.
first down.
That was Dawkins, number 20. See, here's Hugh Douglas right here. It was Dawkins that came in and hit him, right?
Douglas went around him.
Douglas did the right thing.
It's a first down, Buccaneers at the 16. 17 make it. Try to get some points on the board.
Get some points and then get an onside kick.
Yep. They need a lot of things to happen in a hurry. Here's King, and down he goes. Mike Caldwell in to make the stop. The sack.
And again, Jim Johnson doing the same types of things. I mean, he was going to go after and bring linebackers and safeties after Sean King, and he's been doing it all day.
Second and 17. King drops it underneath to Dunn. Schreiner right there to bring him down. Not much.
You know, the two starting wide receivers for Tampa Bay, Keyshawn Johnson, of course, and Jaquez Green. Jaquez Green hasn't caught a ball today.
They're out there together with Anthony on this side. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Keyshawn.
That's a matchup we talked about, Bobby Taylor. Remember all those years when it used to be Bobby Taylor when he'd play against the Dallas Cowboys and he had all those big matchups with Michael Irvin? The same type of thing. I mean, he loves those kinds of things where he can go against the guy. I'm sure Bobby Taylor loves playing against Keyshawn Johnson today.
Yeah, he seems to like big receivers, like Irvin was, like Keyshawn is.
Oop.
Here's Sean King, and the pass is almost intercepted.
They brought both safeties from way back. They brought them from about 15 yards deep. And they timed that thing, and you could see them both running, and you wondered if they were going to get there before or after. What you're going to see the safeties, they're coming from here, and they both start running. You see, and they both hit that thing just about when the ball was snapped. They started deeper than that, and they just kept running.
Sean King trudges off the field.
Yeah, the Buccaneers turn the ball over on downs again, and with 3:45 left on the clock and with Tampa Bay out of timeouts, the Philadelphia Eagles had no trouble in running out the clock to record a hard-fought victory. Once again, the cold weather jinx has beaten the Bucs. Now 20 games without a win, and once again a team will not be playing at home in the Super Bowl. And as I say there, it was a hard-fought victory, Mike, although based on the fact, of course, they did a lot of really good work in there because the scoreline says otherwise, doesn't it?
I mean, battle of the quarterbacks won by McNabb. You know, 33 attempts and only 161 yards isn't very much, but the real key to the game, I thought, was the play of Philadelphia's offensive line holding Tampa's defensive line at bay, and Philadelphia's defensive line, which just did a job on Tampa's offensive line, and Hugh Douglas was keeping the secret of their success under his hat.
We got to go to Giant Stadium. And like I said, we're not just selling for second best right here. We're trying to go all the way. So whatever it is that they got on us, we got to get our mojo working this week and correct that problem, because if we want to go any farther, we got to go through Giant Stadium.
You know, it was just a great total team effort. You know, we love being the underdogs. We love when people say we can't go out and win, and it's more of a challenge. And you know, I think we opened up some eyes again this week.
The fans, unbelievable out there. What a great atmosphere. They were as wild as can be, but yet I think they conducted themselves pretty good. We'll see how the rest of the night goes, but they were awesome.
I didn't think we played like we're capable of playing today. I don't know if we were reluctant to go out and be aggressive against them or whatever. It just seemed like, I don't know, we didn't go out and execute like we can.
Sean King, the losing quarterback in the matchup that Mike referred to there. But first of all, I think, you know, credit to Andy Reid, who's come in and no one expected anything of him in these 2 seasons.
Turned that franchise around, you know, in 2 seasons, and he did it this year without Deuce Staley. I mean, imagine how good that offense would be if there's a running back of Deuce's quality behind that offensive line. You know, they drafted Trey Thomas, they brought John Runyon in, they did a couple of good drafts in the middle of the line. They put together a good team. He picked up Hugh Douglas on the side. The other thing I liked about them was you saw them blitzing on that last play we showed when Tampa had the 4th down. They didn't sit back in a prevent at 21-3. They kept playing aggressively, and that just kept Tampa on their back feet the whole game.
When we saw Donovan McNabb, the quarterback, obviously making things happen in there, Sean King, is he the kind of quarterback who can do that? Does he need more help?
I think he can do it more. You know, he played and lost against McNabb twice in college, but they were good games, Syracuse against Tulane. But he said they had to be more aggressive. And I think what he's talking about is, here's a play that's designed to go to Keyshawn Johnson like this. But right there, Bobby Taylor's coming on the blitz, which means Jaquez Green is going to be here with a safety coming up to cover him, so he's open. But King is concentrating so much on hitting Keyshawn Johnson on the slant that he doesn't even look at Jaquez Green. And yeah, it's a hard pass that maybe they think Sean King can't deliver, but Jaquez Green is open there. And John Madden noticed it. They only threw to him once the whole game. They didn't complete a pass to him. And that, if anything, is the weakness in Philadelphia's pass defense. It's against speed, not against the big guys. You know, Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent can cover the big receivers. They have more trouble with the guys who are fast down the middle.
Yes, indeed. And so Tampa Bay's D couldn't get them there. We can find out who is round and about, though, because we can start looking at the playoff picture for you now. We'll start with Saturday then, Mike.
And the interesting thing about this year's playoffs, just like all the 10-6 teams got in the playoffs, all the home teams, that means the top-seeded teams, won the wild card round. So for the first time that I can remember, you've actually got all of the seeded matchups the way they're supposed to be. And on Saturday, we've got the 2 and 3 teams meeting. New Orleans, Minnesota is a great matchup. Minnesota, Dante Culpepper's got the bad ankle. Robert Smith's got the bad knee. They're talking about John Randall having a bad attitude up there. You know, the Vikings had a tough close to the season, and now things are starting to fall apart. Meanwhile, the Saints are in pretty good shape as long as injuries haven't taken away more players, you know, because they're talking about Joe Horn. Well, Joe Horn's obviously going to be out. They're talking about losing more players now to injury. Alex Molden, the cornerback, could be a really tough loss because they need him to defend against Randy Moss.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at Sunday coverage. Our coverage, first of all, which is here on Channel 5. I mentioned Sunday there because that's what we're going to do for you on this Sunday evening. We'll switch it to Sunday for the next 2. Hockey, by the way, goes to Tuesdays and Wednesdays for the next couple of weeks until Super Bowl's over and done with. Midnight 50, as you can see, is Baltimore, Tennessee. Then we're into the Conference Championships, one of those games on the Sunday the 14th. And then our highlights coverage of Super Bowl on Monday, January the 29th. So 2 Sundays in a row. This is what is actually happening on Sunday in the NFL itself. And there's the two games, and our one there, we've gone for Baltimore and Tennessee, I think very wisely.
Should be a great game. Like I say, I think it's like last year's game with Baltimore playing Tennessee and Tennessee playing Jacksonville. New York, Philadelphia is really hard to call because the Giants match up really well against Philadelphia. You know, their strength, their weakness is secondary. Philadelphia don't have the wide receivers to stretch them. The problem with the Giants is Tiki Barber's hurt and Ron Dane is worn out in his first season in the league. They need the rushing game if they're going to beat Philadelphia. And the game we didn't talk about, Miami-Oakland, should be a good one too, but I'll take Oakland at home as long as Napoleon Kaufman is healthy.
Well, you're starting to call them now, are you?
I'll just take a guess.
Brave soldier. Yeah, that's my for you. Sunday we're back with you for some more NFL action. We'll see you then.